All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back for another session of Dear. Yesterday we tackled chapter 19 together. There were a couple few events that I just want to remind you of. We know when Star woke up, there were a whole bunch of people in the house and all these big breakfasts being cooked, and all of that basically boiled down to the fact that a former felon, Maverick, her father, and her uncle, the cop, finally came together to support Star. This shows that theme that we've been talking about, that boundaries must dissolve in the fight for justice, that we must all come together, no matter what skin color, no matter what age, no matter what gender, the boundaries must dissolve in the fight for social justice. So we see that happening. And there are really only two sides, those upholding oppression and those working to end it. So we're about to find out what happens. As we see from our last reading, we are now 8 weeks after. So it's 8 weeks later for part 3. We're in chapter 20. For those of you lucky enough to have the book at home, you're on page 337. And I apologize if you hear any of those little sounds in the background. Certainly, as you know, during the workday, people try and contact you. So just excuse those and we'll continue with our reading. All right, so 3 hours. That's how long I was in the grand jury room. Miss Monroe asked me all kinds of questions. What angle was Khalil at? Okay, let's try that again. What angle was Khalil at when he was shot? Where did he pull his license and registration from? How did Officer Cruz remove him from the car? Did Officer Cruz seem angry? What did he say? She wanted every single detail. I gave her as much as I could. It's been over 2 weeks since I talked to the grand jury, and now we're waiting for their decision, which is similar to waiting for a meteor to hit. So they're waiting for something bad to happen. You know it's coming. You're just not exactly sure when and where it'll hit, and there ain't nothing, as they say, the S word, but there's nothing you can do in the meantime but keep living. So we're living. The sun is out today, but the rain fell in sheets as soon as we pulled into the parking lot of Williamson. When it rains like that, while the sun's out, Nana says the devil is beating his wife. Plus, it's Friday, the 13th, also known as the Devil's Day, according to Nana. She's probably holed up in the house like it's doomsday. Seven and I dash from the car into the school. The atrium's busy as usual, with people talking to their little cliques or playing around. The school year's almost over, so everybody's goof-off levels are at their highest. And white kid goofing off is a category of its own. I'm sorry, but it is. Yesterday, a sophomore rode down the stairs in the janitor's garbage can. He got suspended and a concussion. Stupid. I wiggle my toes. The one day I wear Chucks, it decides to rain. Now they're miraculously dry. You're good? Seven asks, and I doubt it's about the rain. He's been way more protective lately, ever since we got word that King's still pissed that I dry snitched. I heard Uncle Carlos tell Daddy it gave the cops another reason to watch King closely. Unless King threw the brick, he wasn't done. He hasn't done anything. Yet. So Seven's always on guard, even all the way out here at Williamson. Yeah, I tell him, I'm good. All right. He gives me a dap and goes off to his locker. I head for mine. Haley and Maya are talking at Maya's locker nearby. Actually, Maya's doing most of the talking. Haley's got her arms folded and rolls her eyes out. She sees me down the hall and gets this smug expression. Perfect, she says when I get closer. The liar is here. Excuse me? It's way too early for this BS. Why don't you tell Maya how you flat out lied to us? What? Haley hands me 2 pictures. One is Khalil's thug shot, as Daddy calls it. One of the pictures they've shown on the news. Haley printed it off the internet. Khalil wears a smirk, gripping a handful of money and throwing up a sideways peace sign. The other picture, he's 12. I know because I'm 12 in it too. It's my birthday party at this laser tag place downtown. Khalil's on one side of me, shoveling strawberry cake into his mouth, and Haley's on my other side, grinning for the camera along with me. I thought he looked familiar, Haley says, as smugly as she looks. He is the Khalil you knew, isn't he? I stare at the 2 Khalils. The pictures only show so much. For some people, the thug shot makes him look just like that, a thug. But I see somebody who is happy to finally have some money in his hand. Didn't care where it came from. And the birthday picture, I remember how Khalil ate so much cake and pizza he got sick. His grandma hadn't gotten paid yet, and food was limited in their house. I knew the whole Khalil. That's who. That's who I've been speaking up for. I shouldn't deny any part of him, not even at Williamson. I hand the pictures back to Haley. Yeah, I knew him. So what? Don't you think you owe us an explanation, she says. You owe me an apology, too. What? You've basically picked fights with me because you were upset about what happened to him, she says. You even accused me of being racist. But you have said and done some racist stuff. So? Maya shrugs. Whether Starlight or not doesn't make it okay. Minority Alliance activated. So since I unfollowed her Tumblr, because I didn't want to see any more pictures of that mutilated kid on my dashboard. His name was Emmett Till, says Maya. Whatever. So because I didn't want to see that disgusting stuff, I'm racist? No, Maya says. What you said about it was racist, and your Thanksgiving joke was definitely racist. Oh my God, you're still upset about that, Haley says? That was so long ago. It doesn't make it okay, I say. And you can't even apologize for it. I'm not apologizing because it was only a joke, she shouts. It doesn't make me racist. I'm not letting you guys guilt trip me like this. What's next? You want me to apologize because my ancestors were slave masters or something stupid? And then we see someone say the B word. I take a deep breath. Way too many people are watching. I cannot go angry black girl on her. Your joke was hurtful, I say as calmly as I can. If you give a damn about Maya, you'd apologize and at least try to see why it hurt her. It's not my fault she can't get over a joke from freaking freshman year. Just like it's not my fault you can't get over what happened to Khalil. So I'm supposed to get over the fact that he was murdered? Yeah, get over it. He was probably going to end up dead anyway. Are you serious? Maya says. He was a drug dealer and a gangbanger, Haley says. Somebody was going to kill him eventually. Get over it? I repeat. She folds her arms and does this little neck movement. Yeah. Isn't that what I said? The cop probably did everyone a favor. One less drug dealer on the. I move Maya out of the way and slam my fist against the side of Haley's face. It hurts, but it feels good. Haley holds her cheek, her eyes wide, her mouth open for several seconds. And again we see the B word, she shrieks. She goes straight for my hair like girls usually do, but my ponytail is real. She's not pulling it out. I hit at Haley with my fists, and she slaps and claws me upside my head. I'm thinking of a Jerry Springer episode right now. I push her off, and she hits the floor. Her skirt goes up, and her pink drawers are out for everybody to see. Laughter erupts around us. Some people have their phones out. I'm no longer Williamson Star or even Garden Heights Star. I'm pissed. I kick and hit at Haley, cuss words flying out my mouth. People gather around us, chanting, "Fight! Fight!" And one fool even shouts, "World Star!" I'm going to end up on that ratchet site. So, that idea of this making social media. Somebody yanks my arms, and I turn face to face with Remy, Haley's older brother. You crazy bit! And we see it stop. Before he can finish the B word, a blur of dreadlocks charges at us and pushes Remy back. Get your hands off my sister, Seven says. And then they're fighting. Seven throws blows like nobody's business, knocking Remy upside his head with several good hooks and jabs. Daddy used to take both of us to the boxing gym after school. 2 security guards run over. Dr. Davis, the headmaster, marches toward us. Can only imagine the kind of trouble they're going to be in. An hour later, I'm in Mama's car. Seven trails us in his Mustang. All 4 of us have been sentenced to 3-day suspension despite Williamson's zero-tolerance policy. Haley and Remy's dad, a Williamson board member, thought it was outrageous. He said Seven and I should be expelled because we started it, and that Seven shouldn't be allowed to graduate. Dr. Davis told him, given the circumstances, and he looked straight at me, suspension will suffice. He knows I was with Khalil. This is exactly what they expect you to do, Mama says. 2 kids from Garden Heights acting like you ain't got any sense. They with a capital T. There's them and there's us. Sometimes they look like us and don't realize they are us. But she was running her mouth, saying Khalil deserved. I don't care. She said she shot him herself. People are going to say a whole lot, Star. It doesn't mean you hit somebody. You got to walk away sometimes. You mean walk away and get shot like Khalil did? She sighs. Baby, I understand. No, you don't, I say. Nobody understands. I saw the bullets rip through him. I sat there in the street as he took his last breath. I've had to listen to people try to make it seem like it's okay he was murdered, as if he deserved it. But he didn't deserve to die, and I didn't do anything to deserve seeing that. WebMD calls it a stage of grief, anger. But I doubt I'll get to the other stages. This one slices me into millions of pieces. Every time I'm whole and back to normal, something happens to tear me apart, and I'm forced to start all over again. The rain lets up, the devil stops beating his wife, but I beat the dashboard, punching it over and over, numb to the pain of it. I want to be numb to the pain of all of this. Let it out, Munch. My mom rubs my back. Let it out. I pull my polo over my mouth and scream until there aren't any screams left in me. If there are any, I don't have energy to get them out. I cry for Khalil, for Natasha, even for Haley, because damn if I didn't just lose her for good too. When we turn on our street, I'm snot-nosed and wet-eyed, finally numb. A gray pickup and a green Chrysler 300 are parked behind Daddy's truck in the driveway. Mama and Seven have to park in the front of the house. What is this man up to, Mama says. She looks over at me. You feel better? I nod. What other choice do I have? She leans over and kisses my temple. We'll get through this, I promise. We get out. I'm 100% sure the cars in the driveway belong to King Lords and Garden Disciples. In Garden Heights, you can't drive a car that's gray or green unless you claim a set. I expect yelling and cussing when I get inside, but all I hear is Daddy saying, It don't make no sense, man. For real, it don't. It's standing room only in the kitchen. We can't even get in because some guys are in the doorway. Half of them have green somewhere in their outfits. Garden Disciples. The others have light gray on somewhere. Cedar Grove King Lords, Mr. Rubin's nephew. So the others have light gray on them somewhere. We know that represents Cedar Grove King Lords. Mr. Rubin's nephew, Tim, sits beside Daddy at the table. I've never noticed that cursive GD, so Garden Disciples tattoo on his arm. We don't know when the grand jury gonna make their decision, Daddy says. But if they decide not to indict, y'all gotta tell these little dudes not to burn this neighborhood down. What you expect them to do then? Says a GD at the table. Folks tired of the BS, Mav. Straight up, says the King Lord goon, who's at the table too. His long plaits have ponytail holders on them. I used to wear way back in the day. Nothing we can do about it. That's BS, says Tim. We can do something. We can all agree the riots got out of hand, right, says Daddy. He gets a bunch of yeah and yeah, right. Then we can make sure it doesn't go down like that again. Talk to these kids. Get in their heads. Yeah, they're mad. We're all mad. But burning down our neighborhood ain't gonna fix it. Our, says the GD at the table. And then we see the N word. You said you moving. So again, the conflicting code switching, Maverick wanting to get out of Garden Heights, and then the Garden Disciples saying, you're the one leaving here. It's no longer our neighborhood. To the suburbs, Goon mocks. You getting a minivan too, Mav? They all laugh at that. Daddy doesn't, though. I'm moving. So what? I'll still have a store here. I'll still give a damn what happens here. Who's going to benefit if the whole neighborhood burns down? Damn sure won't benefit none of us. We got to be more organized next time, says Tim. For one, make sure our brothers and sisters know they can't destroy black-owned businesses. That messes it all up for us. For real, says Daddy. And I know me and Tim out the game, so we can't speak on some things. But all these territory wars got to be put aside somehow. This is bigger than some street stuff. And honestly, all that street stuff got these cops thinking they can do whatever they want. Yeah, I feel you on that, says Goon. Y'all gotta come together somehow, man, Daddy says. For the sake of the garden. The last thing they'd ever expect is some unity around here, all right? Daddy slaps palms with Goon and the Garden Disciple. Then Goon and the Garden Disciple slap palms with each other. Wow, Seven says. It's huge that these two gangs are in the same room together, and for my daddy to be the one behind it. Crazy. He notices us in the doorway. What y'all doing here? Mama inches into the kitchen looking around. The kids got suspended. Suspended, Daddy says. For what? Seven passes him his phone. It's online already, I say? Yeah, somebody tagged me in it. Daddy taps the screen, and I hear Haley running her mouth about Khalil, then a loud smack. Some of the gang members watch over Daddy's shoulder. Damn, little mama one says. You got hands. You crazy bit. Remy says on the phone. A bunch of smacks and ohs follow. Look at my boy, Daddy says. Look at him. I ain't know your little nerdy butt had it in you, a King Lord teases. Mama clears her throat. Daddy stops the video. All right, you all, he says, serious all of a sudden. I gotta handle some family business. We'll meet back up tomorrow. Tim and all the gang members clear out, and cars crank up outside. Still no gunshots or arguing. They could have broken out into gangster rendition of Kumbaya, and I wouldn't be any more shocked than I am. How did you get all of them in here and keep the house in one piece? Mama asks. I got it like that. Mama kisses him on the lips. You certainly do. My man, the activist. Uh-huh. He kisses her back. Your man. Seven clears his throat. We're standing right here. Y'all can't complain, Daddy says. If you wouldn't have been fighting, you wouldn't have to see that. He reaches over and pinches my cheek a little. You all right? The dampness hasn't left my eyes yet, and I'm not exactly smiling. I mutter, yeah. Daddy pulls me onto his lap. He cradles me and switches between kissing my cheek and pinching it, going over and over in a real deep voice. What's wrong with you? Huh? What's wrong with you? And I'm giggling before I can stop myself. Daddy gives me a sloppy wet kiss on my cheek and lets me up. I knew I'd get you laughing. Now what happened? You saw the video. Haley ran her mouth, so I popped her. Simple as that. That's your child, Maverick, Mama says. Gotta hit somebody because she didn't like what they said. Mine. Uh-huh, baby. That's all you. He looks at Seven. Why were you fighting? Dude came at my sister, Seven says. I wasn't going to let him. As much as Seven talks about protecting Kenya and Lyric, it's nice that he has my back too. Daddy replays the video, starting with Haley saying he was probably going to end up dead anyway. Wow, Mama says, that little girl has a lot of nerve. Spoiled but don't know a damn thing and run in her mouth, Daddy says. So what's our punishment? Seven asks. Go do your homework, Mama says. That's it, I say. You'll also have to help your dad at the store while you're suspended. She drapes her arms over Daddy from behind. Sound okay, baby? He kisses her arm. Sounds good to me. If you can't translate parentish, this is what they really said. Mama, I don't condone what you did. Or Mama says, I don't condone what you did, and I'm not saying it's okay, but I probably would have done it too. What about you, baby? And again, the translation for what Maverick said, hell yeah, I would have. And we see Star loves them for that. So again, an example of the closeness between Star and her parents, even when things are tough. And even when they've had a fight, been suspended, family still comes through. So I want you to think, what do you think Star should have done when Haley said Khalil was going to end up dead anyway? And how is Maverick trying to unite the neighborhood? Those are your final thoughts for today. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back again with our next session.